Today we are celebrating the one Maori holiday in New Zealand, Waitangi Day. This morning we are hitting the road to the lovely place of Okains Bay. If you guys remember, we did bike here not so long ago, but this time we are driving there, and we are not the only one. There is heaps of people here because it's one of the main places in New Zealand to celebrate Waitangi Day.
Fight! Fight! Ah!
As you can see, the ceremony starts with the potpourri, which is the Maori welcoming ceremony, and this allows us to step onto their ground for the main ceremony to start. And while all the politicians start giving speech to each other, Laura is going to tell you more about what is Waitangi Day and why is it so important in New Zealand.
Waitangi Day is New Zealand's national day, the day that New Zealand basically became a nation. It happens every year on the 6th of February, on the same day that the Treaty of Waitangi was signed in 1840. That was signed between the Maori chiefs and the British to make the nation of New Zealand. So after the local Maori tribes and the New Zealand Navy representing the English crown both give their speeches, it's time to end the ceremony with a traditional hangi. The hangi is a traditional greeting in Maori, and the tribe here take the time to greet every single person in the crowd, which is a really nice touch.
So, touch the nose on our forehead and we drink in at the same time.
After the ceremony, Laura and I browse around the Okains Bay Maori and Colonial Museum. We check out some wakas, which are some Maori wakanus that we're gonna see in action later on today, and we also get ourselves some literature.
So this is both translations of the Treaty of Waitangi. We've got the Maori version here and the English one here.
But the festivities continue around the corner. There is heaps of stuff. There is some steam machines, there is some stalls that sell some punamu, which are Maori greenstone. They are awesome carving and make amazing pendants and souvenirs. And there is even some wood chopping demonstration. This is to show the way of life of the colonials when they arrived here in New Zealand. They apparently compete chopping wood the fastest. I don't really know much about that, but this is not the place where we're going to be spending most of our time today. We are quickly making our way across the street because we heard there was some food, because what is a celebration without food?
So I've got 2 tickets for the hangi, which is a traditional Maori meal. It's going to be lifted at 12. I think it's right here. You can see a big pile of mud right here. I just don't want to miss it.
So once we've got our tickets, we head over to the hangi and talk to some of the locals who have been preparing this. They prepared this since 4 a.m. this morning, and what's going on is that there's some heated rocks under the ground with loads of food for 600 people, and it's currently slow cooking in the ground, and it'll be ready later on this afternoon. But for now, we're going to kill some time by checking out some of these really amazing waka. However, we noticed that one of the waka is missing because it's currently on the river right now being paddled upstream by about 30 people. At first we think that there must be some pretty beefy guys in here to paddle all the way upstream from the ocean, but as they get closer we realise that it's actually full of teenagers and children.
All the people paddling the war canoe are local of the area, and they are welcoming us with their own version of their haka. And this leads us to the reveal of the hangi. That's the food, guys, that's the food. Everybody in the crowd know what is the hangi by now, and we all know that it's basically food which has been slow cooked, juicy, delicious and tasty right underneath this massive pile of dirt. And after it has been blessed by the local chief, it is actually going to be revealed. The anticipation is now spreading throughout the entire crowd. Everybody's getting really excited. I can see some people salivating. It's so cool as it slowly gets revealed from underneath the earth. After a little while, everybody is kind of hanging back and being like, anytime guys, anytime. I personally know that good food takes a lot of time, but All the people around here are mostly used to fast food, so you can hear a lot of grunts, especially from the children. But the food is finally getting revealed, and we are seeing the little pieces of tarp being removed from the top of the cage full of amazing goodness. People are finally getting excited, and a lot of the really smart people are starting to go queue up. But Laura and I are really intrigued by the whole process, and we cannot miss all those pictures opportunity right here. So we don't see the crowd thinning and the queue lengthening. We are just in awe in front of all the food getting digged from the ground.
One of the locals tells us that not every hangi cooking method is the same throughout New Zealand. Different tribes have different ways, different recipes, and different ways that they actually heat the rocks for going underground with the food. But they all go by the same principle that this food has been slow cooked under the ground, taking hours and hours to be prepared. But finally, here's the moment where it's getting onto the tables, ready to be served to the public. After seeing the hangi be dug out from underneath the ground, being taken over to the preparation tables, even being served onto the individual tables, we finally decide now would be a good time to go queue up. Problem is,
Anytime now!
we cannot see an end to this queue. This is the first time we have even seen a queue in New Zealand. What were we thinking?
And then there was us.
Oh, it's crazy. I'm actually starving. I was starving like 2 hours ago.
Okay, well.
I'm going to be starving for another hour.
But to be quite honest, the wait was well worth it. We are treated to chicken, beef, pork, lamb, carrot, kumara, potatoes, cabbage, stuffings, and even much more. All of that served on a way too small plate. Oh man, it smells delicious. I could eat that stuff every single day. So we're gonna be doing like everybody else. We're gonna find ourselves a nice little spot to enjoy our little picnic. And that nice little spot is gonna be right in front of the water because we're treating ourselves. After all, today is a celebration. So look at this yummy treat and celebrate with us.
Now, as I said, there is about 600 people getting a hangi today, and we are probably number 598 and 599 in the queue. We have a long wait ahead of us, but we know this is worth it.